and welcome to Study English IELTS Preparation. I'm Margot Politis. In the listening module of the IELTS test, you can expect to be asked questions about numbers. So it's important to be familiar with how we talk about numbers. First, listen to the numbers in this clip about a wind farm in Tasmania.
Each tower that you can see can generate enough power for between 700 and 800 houses.
Between 700 and 800 houses. When numbers are exact or a clear approximation such as between 700 and 800, the word hundred has no final S. The plural is formed by the following noun. Between 700 and 800 houses. For an exact figure, you say 700 houses. You can use a preposition to be less exact and say over 700 houses, around 700 houses, about 700 houses, nearly 700 houses, or under 700 houses. When we state a number, such as 700 or 8,000, there is no S after the unit. 400, 10,000, or 5 million. So when do we add S to these words? Listen to the man in the next clip use hundreds to describe the slow change from one type of forest to another.
There have probably been 3 lots of logging since white settlement in the 1860s. In time, that eucalyptus forest will gradually go back to rainforest, but that takes hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years. There is no number, it's just more than one. Notice we add of before the noun years. Hundreds of years. So listen carefully. Thousands of and millions of are not exact numbers. They're guesses or rough figures. He also said the 1860s. This means any year from 1860 to 1869. In the next clip about Angkor Wat in Cambodia, the speaker doesn't use the final S.
Angkor is one of the most popular World Heritage Sites in the whole of Asia. Every year now, there are over 1 million tourists coming to Angkor.
By saying over 1 million tourists, he means more than 1 million, but much less than 2 million. If the figure were closer to 2 million, he would probably say nearly 2 million tourists. But if he'd said millions of tourists, he would mean more than 2 million. Instead of saying 1 million, you can also say a million. It means the same thing. Listen to this woodchopper talking about how many titles he's won.
183 world titles, I suppose, so the only person in sporting history that ever won over 1,000 championships, and so I suppose it hasn't been too bad of a life.
Over 1,000 championships. He could have said 1,000 or 1,000. And he could have said 183. Notice that and is used to add numbers below 100. He says 183. You also say 1,083 and 1,000,083. But you say 1,183 or 1,001,083. When you're talking about where something occurs in a sequence, you use ordinal numbers such as first, second, third, fourth. Ordinal numbers are used in dates, as in this clip in which the speaker is talking about a major art exhibition held in 2006.
The Biennale of Sydney this year is the 15th. It occurs every 2 years, as all biennales do, and this year starts on the 8th of June.
He says the 15th. He means the 15th Sydney Biennale exhibition. There have been 14 held before this one. The date is the 8th of June. This date can be expressed like this: June 8th, June the 8th. Now listen for another use of an ordinal number in this clip about an art course held in an art gallery.
So if we're looking at one of the paintings in this gallery in European art, where we're looking at 19th century paintings, we're talking about the paintings as they appear in the gallery spaces.
She says 19th century paintings. Ordinal numbers are used for centuries and are often written in numbers like this: 19th. Of course, this refers to the 1800s, again usually written as a number, the 1800s. So what do you call the present century?
I think that the kind of, the strongest mark of 21st century culture is artists taking from every possible place to realise their visions.
He says 21st century culture. The suffix st is used after one to represent the last two letters of first. Ordinal numbers are also used to refer to fractions. You have the special fraction terms half, third, and quarter, but all other forms use ordinal numbers, as in this clip about the wind farm.
6 towers were erected in that time. These have the potential of generating 1/5 of Tasmania's power needs from wind energy.
1/5 of Tasmania's power needs. Plural fractions take a plural form. For example, 2/5. Fractions are followed by of, 1/5 of, and a noun group which refers to the whole. 1/5 of Tasmania's power needs. Another type of fraction is percentage. For example, 1/4 can be expressed as 25%. Let's listen for the percentage used in this clip about an oyster farm.
It takes approximately 2 to 2.5 years to get the oysters up to size. From this farm, we've averaged about 15% of the market for export, and that goes to Hong Kong and Japan.
15% of the market. Percentages have the same structure as fractions, of and a noun group. 15% of the market for export. Yet another way of talking about parts of numbers is decimals. Listen to how they're used in talking about wind turbines.
It's quite a large structure, 1.75 megawatts generated by each unit.
1.75 megawatts. Electrical power is measured in watts. 1 megawatt is 1 million watts. You say 1.75, but write it in numbers with a decimal point. 1.75. A decimal is usually followed by a plural noun. 1.75 megawatts. Now let's listen to a furniture maker talk about the thickness of the veneer or layer of wood he puts on his furniture. Is his veneer thicker than the old-fashioned sort?
Today we're using sophisticated ways of putting our construction of our furniture. We use a lot of veneers, and those veneers aren't, the old-fashioned 0.06 of a mil. They're about a 6 mil veneer laid up on MDF, and they have a solid frame.
His veneers aren't the old-fashioned 0.06 of a mil. They're about a 6 mil veneer. They're much thicker. 0.06 of a mil is a decimal figure. It's less than 1. Mil is short for millimetre. Notice that he says it like a fraction. 0.06 of a mil. Usually you say 0.06, although you will sometimes hear 0.06. That's all for today. For more practice listening to the way numbers are expressed, go to our website. Good luck with your studies.